Hey, what's going on, everyone? Reggie Haynes here, and you are tuned in to another edition of Reggie Haynes in Africa. And today, I'm going to get a little bit personal, a little bit dark, and I'm going to read negative comments from people who have basically commented on the things that I've been doing since I've been here in Africa and etc. I believe so many people hate me. I just don't understand. I do so much. Dude, why do people hate me? Just joking. I'm ready. So the first comment, and I'm going to try my best to not really put these people on blast. I'm going to try to end off on a positive note here. The first comment comes from Liverpool Moors. And I'm guessing this is a platform where these people are Moorish. And they, they're basically based in the UK. And it says, "Peace, brother. Random message. You need to get on what black means. What nationality and sovereignty is why they important to a people's freedom." I think that was a typo. And then I say, huh? What are you talking about? Because I'm confused about the typo. That's all you need to show me. You've not a clue. So if I've asked you what's your nationality or how do you identify yourself? And then I responded to this person, letting it be known, when it comes in regards to melanated people globally, I never try to allow any form of nationality or a title to lead us to be divided and easily conquered. I always send voice notes, and that's what I did to this particular individual because I never want someone to be misconstrued by a text message. So in this particular voice note, I was stating that I hope you're not coming to me in a harsh or negative way based off of your message. It seems that way, but I could be wrong. And as I was taking accountability, I also stated, look, at the end of the day, we're all melanated, and I'm not going to allow any type of label to divide us, leading us to be easily conquered by evil. Because I see that all the time. Well, you're Moor, and you're African, you're from here, you're from that place, and we're not together. And unity is what abolishes this inhumane system that shouldn't exist to begin with. Divisiveness is what keeps it going. And when I, ended things off with this particular individual, I let it be known that there's no harsh feelings. There's no negative feelings towards you or your particular group of people that you associate yourself with. But at the end of the day, when it comes in regards to being melanated, I hope you know who the enemy is, and I hope you don't feed into it at all. The next person comes from when I was doing a YouTube short on my platform, Reggie Haynes in Africa, and I was stating how great Zimbabwe is. And this particular person, True American 2305, said, "Oh, I'll pass." And the other person, Go Gadget Django, says, "You're working with lazy and unconcerned people." Now, to the first comment, the person said, "I'll pass." I have no problem with that. If you don't want to visit Zimbabwe, hey, it's all good. It's not for everybody. But I will say this to both people that commented. First of all, I've met a lot of hardworking people within Zimbabwe, and these are these youths and these individuals are people to where if you need anything done, they will deliver it respectfully. And you're saying that they're unconcerned. Well, I feel like there's a lot of people who are concerned within Zimbabwe who want to better their community. But I feel like the more and more us who are not seeing what they go through on a consistent basis, these particular individuals who don't, experience their experiences. We're not living their day-to-day life. We weren't born and raised there. We don't know how or how much they've gone through, but I still feel like we shall not belittle them based off of what we see from a distance. We should always try to encourage and uplift people if we see that they have any type of, weaknesses, etc. Or if we view it as a weakness, they might not. But from what you guys are saying, you want to pass, that's fine. You feel like they're lazy and unconcerned, that's your opinion. But I know for a fact that the people who I visited in Zimbabwe are hardworking, and they're very concerned people about making sure that their community progresses at all times. The next comment comes from a person who, when I was posting my commercial from Ugly Truth Apparel, that is, they said, "Why would you put slaves on a plantation? That's so degrading to hundreds of years of abuse of black people. If you were a white person, you would probably be banned." And I answered them and I responded. When I was playing sports, and I even attempted to do it again, I felt like I was a slave on the plantation. You got the owners looking down at the slaves who are putting their bodies on the line. And then you got the people in the audience who are going to ridicule you if things don't go their way. The people who are the masses who pay in order to see you put your life on the line. You accept that money and you continue to get brutalized mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. That sounds like a slave to me. And at the end of the day, I put that on there because I'm not afraid to admit back in my playing days, that's exactly who I was. So the next comment comes from a person who is basically two people. North Fork 7201 says, it's not such thing. Not such thing. Grammar issues, man. I might get it from my mom, man, because we're big on that stuff. It's not such thing as black race. All people melanated, not African. I'm guessing they're saying that people who are melanated aren't African. And that can be true. That can definitely be true. But I will say this. All melanated people are the original people. And that's why in this particular video, when I was talking about on my, I believe it was on, the Reggie Haynes in Africa page, when I was talking about all different race groups do the same exact things, we're highlighted as being the only ones that do certain things. And we also feed into that ourselves. So I was stating in this video, like whether you're black, melanated, as you say in the West, African, or the original people, that's what I go by. Don't feed into the vision. Don't feed into the negative propagandas that are placed upon you by these outsiders or by, toxic programming. And by this person saying, hey, all melanated people aren't African. Okay, well, we're the originals. We are the original people. And like I said earlier in this video, I don't want labels to divide us, leading us to be easily conquered. I would rather say, you know what, even though you were born and raised in this particular area with this particular background, you're still a person who is melanated and you're still one of the original people. And you having your own uniqueness and I having my own uniqueness, that's phenomenal on its own. But just imagine if we unify, it'll be even better. But at the same time, even if we don't, whenever you need me, I'll be there, and hopefully you'll do the same. For the other person, can you elaborate on the individual versus united aspect about black people? I just did. That's why I saved that comment for second. The next comment comes from a person called at Gawake. I know I'm pronouncing this wrong. Gawake Kanjimba 2410. It will really be great to see you grow into not grouping the whole continent on almost everything. Hands praised up. That's what they said, right? And my thing, that was the emoji that they put. And I responded respectfully. I said, hey, thanks so much for watching. But I've been waiting to respond to this one because I did my own research. And at one point in time, Africa was a country in its own. There was no divisiveness. There was no division. And that's my point right there. So many people want to try to claim, hey, this is where I'm from. This is me. This is where I'm at. This is better than that. And that feeds into divisiveness. So the reason I lump Africa with other groups is because I know for a fact that everywhere I step on the motherland is Africa to me. I know there's different cultures. I know there's different people. I know there's different beliefs, but I don't allow those different beliefs to lead me and our people astray or lead us to our own demise. I want us to unify on all accounts. I would never degrade anybody's background or culture, but I will say I can't allow that background or culture to lead us to be divided and easily conquered by evil. Next comment comes from at Euro-J8W. Haha, they think you're poor, bro. They don't think they're poor. When's the last time you went to Africa? YouTube is not Africa, bro. I responded respectfully and let this person know I'm actually in Africa. And, I was pretty harsh, when I responded. I got some harshness in me. But I basically let this person know, like, look, at the end of the day, I'm in Africa. I'm around, and I'm not labeling YouTube as being Africa. I'm actually here. See, a lot of people will comment from a distance, not even experience something. They'll stay behind a keyboard all day and they will just assume based off of toxic programming. I don't fall for that. One of the reasons I came to the motherland was because I saw the lies that they were placing on the motherland. And going back to this video, the title is, how did Africa become so poor? And so many people started commenting, Africa's not poor, Africa's not poor. And within the first 10 seconds of the video, that's exactly what I said. Just like in this video, I was letting it be known, hey, no, Africa's not poor. It's a mindset. But guess what? This particular individual responded based off of the title and not taking time out to watch the video. And that just shows me that's a troll at its finest, or worse, that is. Next comment comes from at CatDog223. What's your version of what a man does? Now, I made a song that is dedicated to my upcoming album. Reggie, you're a comedian. And the title of this song is basically, if you ain't never been a man before, don't tell me how to be one. And this person, without even listening to the song, read the title just like the last commenter. And my thing is to where you guys need to start listening to the lyrics, right? So these people have not listened to the lyrics. And my definition, to answer your question of what a man is, and I responded, is a man is, I can only speak for myself because Reggie's his own man, a person who takes accountability, always wants to progress, and is always going to be there to be a protector and a provider for those people who are uplifting his community just as he is. I think that's all I have on that one. If I have anything else, I'll add it in another video. But thank you so much for that question. Hope I gave you somewhat of a respectable answer. Next comment comes from, again, this is a person who saw my video when I was promoting my album, and it was me doing a comedy routine when I had a show. And I was talking about how I had two mothers. One was from Africa, another one was from America. And my African mom said, I don't want you dating no girls out here in Africa. And then my mom was like, well, if you do, she better speak good English. And I was telling my mom, look, those be the worst ones. And it was all in joke. It was all in fun. And this person said, stop listening to relationship advice from women. I'm gonna have to disagree. When it comes in regards to relationship advice from women, they have the best advice because I don't have women in my life who are jealous and envious. I have women who are going to always be there to protect me from women who are not for me. So my relatives, the ones who are closest to me, will pinpoint, nah, Reggie, do you see how a woman is doing this, that, and the third? You wouldn't know that because you're a man, but I know this because I'm a woman. She's no good for you. And I respect that. So when it comes in regards to listening or taking advice from women, I'm gonna have to disagree. I think that's a great idea, especially those, or primarily from those women who are actually there to look out for you. Next question, or next comment, comes from @TracyTrotman6307. This could very well be AI put out by someone who is not of our race to depict that our children would dare do such a thing. No way. This is really not a bad comment or a negative comment. This is from someone who is concerned about a video that I reviewed where a grandmother got hit by a football, and it was an AI video, and I mentioned that in the video. And another thing is to where there are youths out there who are blatantly disrespectful to elders, and there's tons of videos that's not AI that depict that, and they're from all different races. But what I said in this particular video is that when it comes in regards to our melanated race, we need to make sure, the original people, we need to make sure that we're not feeding into this logic. We need to make sure that things are just like they were back in the day. If a child steps out of line, a respectable adult needs to discipline that child and let it be known, this is why you never do that, because it will take you a long way and it will help our community progress. Not just right then and there, but for the long haul. The next comment comes from a particular individual who is very well known online. And I don't know this brother personally, but at the end of the day, I seen his work, and I'm guessing he's still doing great works over in the Motherland. And this video was over a year old. And what happened was I was basically letting it be known the bad things that I was going through in Africa. And I was like, you know what, maybe it's time for me to go. Things didn't work out that way. I ended up staying. But this particular individual came out and said, you're leaving Africa, entire continent, because of failed expectations before going, which is actually already a flawed perspective on your part. I've been in Kenya for a year. And do you think my experiences has been all good? No. But as a Black American, you must move to Africa with a greater purpose and open mind to fully grasp what's going on around you. Either way, before it's all over with, I'm moving back to Tanzania. No excuse to run back to the white man, or run back to the white man, brother. And I responded via DM. This particular individual deleted the comment and then said, why do I have to text you back on DM? And I was stating to him, well, I don't feed into public humiliation because obviously text messages can be misconstrued. This particular individual had screenshots saved by other people who I know personally. And they were like, Reggie, do I need to handle this person? I said, no. We're not going to create this into any type of divisiveness whatsoever. This particular individual has come onto my platform. I'm respectfully taking it in private to talk to this brother about my perspective, because obviously they've seen this video and they don't know the full story, because the video doesn't discuss the full story. He's responding based off of limited information. The person then goes on and says, bro, stop it, bro, for real, 100%. It's cool to be frustrated, duh, we all black, but this post represents defeat and the lack of tenacity, my brother, Invictus, hashtag Invictus. That's what he said. And I basically responded, I hear your perspective and thank you for your comment. And I stated before, King, I sent what I believe to be respectful DMs, you in your response to your first post, and you have responded with nothing. And he basically deleted all of these comments, liked somebody else's post who I actually know, and then did not respond to any of my DMs. And my response to this brother is this. At the end of the day, I respect what you say. I respect what you're doing. And I have to admit that since I've been in Africa, and after you made your comment, and your comment was not an influence at all, it was on my own notion, I had to realize that there are slaves everywhere. And that's what I started doing, pinpointing the slaves within the continent of Africa or in our communities in general. And that's the perspective I started taking on my videos. And when it comes in regards to people that delete their comments and don't want to respond to you, and then have, you know, they basically had the audacity to say, why do I need to respond to you in DM? Making it seem like, okay, I'm not worthy of that. It just goes to show that this is a person who obviously was triggered by something that I said, got upset, saw it, saw how other people were responding, and then said, you know what, let me backtrack, delete this, and move on elsewhere. At the end of the day, I tried to have a respectable conversation with this brother, and it went nowhere. And with that being said, that just goes to show that this is a person who, at the end of the day, I don't really need to take advice from. I appreciate what you were leaning to advice wise, but I'm going to be fine as I've been going on my own, brother, or with people who respect me enough to not delete comments and actually bring things to a safe place like the DMs, so there's no form of public humiliation. The next comment comes from a particular individual to where I was a part of a basketball league in Mizzou. And this particular individual is a local, and they were basically not flattered with the fact that I left the basketball league, and they thought that I was just a terrible player, and they thought that I was, basically just lying about my identity, etc. And this is so crazy how this happened, because I made a post recently saying I'm going to start a channel called Exposing Slaves. And on this particular individual, this person went to my page and said, and their name is @nobody4955. So they're calling themselves Nobody. I know exactly who this person is. Technology, right? The person says, run from what exactly? Because I said, hey, they were basically saying you're a clown, you're trash, you're ass. And they were basically going on and trying to comment and basically try to rile me up. And I said, well, I hope you don't run away like a coward like most trolls do. I hope you, comment again so we can have a respectable conversation. This person said, run from what exactly? Bruh, I'm just here to tell you you're ass on the basketball court and you claim to have played in the NFL like Google don't exist. Well, the very next day, I know they were pissed off if they saw it. The very next day, I went on Google and I typed myself up, and it says this right here. An official autograph from public figure, independent filmmaker and musician Reggie Haynes is valued at over 100 USD. While he initially did not charge for collaborations and signatures throughout his early career in the United States, his autograph valuation shifted significantly after he transitioned to international volunteer work, content production, and sports and media across Africa, notably in countries like Zimbabwe and Malawi. And to make sure you are evaluating the correct public figure, Reggie Haynes is distinct from other famous Reggies, like baseball legend Reggie Jackson or football star Reggie Wayne, two men who I grew up watching. This is the Reggie. His specific background includes the arts and media. He is an independent writer, director, musician, and video editor originally from Houston, Texas. He is best known for creating the web series The House of Reggie. It also goes back to say athletic background. He had a brief and minor stint with the NFL's Houston Texans before transitioning fully into music and film production. His recent activity is where he hosts a show called 21 Questions with Reggie Haynes. The point that I'm trying to make here is to where in my life, I've had so many people Reggie, you ain't this. Reggie, you ain't that. And that's fine. Totally fine. And in that same day or the very next day, something positive happens. People will claim you're not who you say you are. You haven't done this. You haven't done that. You're not special. You're bad at this. Those same people are not going to do anything to help you progress. Their main goal in your life is to make sure that you stay miserable just like them. And all of these people have failed. Oh, not me, themselves. Because I refuse to live a life to where I'm going in people's comment sections, talking bad about them based off of limited information, not even knowing them. Or seeing them struggle at something after not playing organized sports for over 12 years and not try to help them. That would highlight my character as being somebody who criticizes and not trying to help somebody in their community progress. Or it can highlight them as being a jealous and envious person who obviously wanted this person to fail so that way they can have the right to comment so they can feel better about themselves. And it backfired. I refuse to be that type of person. And I'm glad that I've had a great support from so many people who realize that I'm about we and not me. Another thing that's been mentioned on Google is that I'm always giving out my autographs for free to people who just want to make rent, who want to have money, who don't want to struggle anymore. If there's a way for me to help this community better itself, I'm going to do just that. And I don't want no credibility. But it goes to show that the village has spoken, and that Reggie Haynes whose ass, I guess he's not that bad if, he's doing all these great things that the village says I am. But all in all, for all those people who's been watching, I appreciate you guys tuning in to me reacting to these people who obviously have nothing better to do or just don't like me. But guess what? That's their problem, not mine. And I'm glad that I have a group of you guys who are always supporting me on this platform, who are helping not just me, but we progress.